Imagine knowing that everything you experience is a reality you are creating. Imagine finally understanding that with the right belief system, you never have to be sick. Imagine never having to worry or have fear about anything because you are in control of it all. What will you do when you find out this is all true and what you have been told to believe is false? It is time to learn the truth. Hello everybody, and welcome to another episode of Reality Changer Radio. It is Tuesday, November 5th, 2013. And this evening I'd like to talk about something that's very special to me. It has to do with once you have accepted the fact that you can change your reality, then you get into the habit of creating each day. And I don't mean just willy-nilly. What I'm talking about here is accepting the fact that you do have total control and then using that along with the visualization techniques that I'm about to teach you tonight. A lot of times we wake up in the morning. Sometimes it's 5 seconds before we have to run out the door. Sometimes it's a couple of hours before we have to leave. Sometimes it's with a hangover. A lot of different stories. One of the habits that everyone needs to get into is leaving themselves an hour of free time each morning to do a couple of things. The first one is to be able to stay in bed when you first wake up. And what I don't want you to do is I want you to stop listening to music when you wake up. How do people think they need some punk rock or something loud just to wake them up? You can get into the habit of waking up most times 5 minutes before your alarm. The body recognizes habitual actions, and the body has an internal clock. You can program that clock to wake up every morning at whatever time you desire. It takes practice, but it doesn't take very much practice. When you go to bed at night, before you go to sleep, visualize the clock. Don't look at the clock, but visualize the clock in the morning and what time you want to wake up. And in your head, say to yourself that I'm going to wake up at, for instance, let's say your alarm is set at 6:30. I'm going to wake up at 6:30 or just before 6:30. And be confident enough, just like any of these manifestation techniques, be confident enough to understand that you really can do this. And when you go to sleep, just visualize this 6:25 or whatever time it is that you need to wake up in the morning. Now, go ahead and set your alarm anyways. That's perfectly fine, because you're going to need to keep that habit of setting your alarm just in case you have an off night. But after a couple of weeks of solidly practicing this technique, you're going to be amazed at how often you start to wake up just before your alarm. You may even do that now. Okay? You may even do that now. And that, if you're wondering what that is, that's the body's recognition of habitual action. You know, just like when you reach over, it's your energy, it's your intuition, it's all tied into one. So that's the first step that you're going to want to get in the habit of. If you're the type of personality that wakes up 5 minutes before you have to run out the door, stop it. We're talking about life-changing actions here. If you don't like the life that's been going on, you need to take drastic action. You can't just do the same old thing day after day and expect results. It's not going to happen. You need to commit to yourself to change. And this change starts when you go to bed at night and doesn't stop until you go to bed at night, and starts again when you go to bed at night, and doesn't stop until you go to bed at night. Is everyone catching on here? If you truly want to control each day and how it affects your life, you need to be able to control your sleep patterns, when you go to sleep, when you wake up, how you treat yourself in the morning. Remember, you are a beautiful spirit of God consciousness. We need to get you out of the old school programming of allowing you to mistreat yourself on the physical plane just because everybody else does. And those people that are doing that don't understand exactly what they are or who they are. And they're no different than you. They're no different than me. But the one thing that they don't do, that I do, and that you should be doing, and that everybody should be doing, is they're not loving themselves as the beautiful spiritual person they are. So it starts when you go to bed. Give yourself that opportunity to use your body clock, use your intuition. Because let me tell you something. Once you start getting into the habit and the confidence of being able to tell yourself when you want to wake up, you'll be able to change up on certain days. And your body and your whole spirit gets used to the habit of you telling it when you want to wake up. And trust me on this one, you will wake up. Let's say, for instance, you want to go fishing on a Saturday morning. And normally you wake up at 6:30, but Saturday morning you got to get up at dark 30, and that means like 3:30, 4 o'clock. Get all your gear together, get your kids together if you've got kids that are going with you. You want to do an inventory of your fishing lines, make sure you got all your hooks, got all your rods, everything. You fishermen out there, fisherwomen out there, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Not only that, but you want to get out to the lake early. That's key to getting the best spot. And you know where the best spot is. Now, what you don't want to have to do is rattle your brain. Imagine you wake up because you've got some loud-ass alarm. Now, the person laying next to you, if there is one, is not that happy because they're not planning on getting up that early. They still have 2 or 3 more hours to go. So now you've disturbed their sleep. Also, you have disturbed your what I call twilight moment. And I don't mean midnight. I mean that time where you're just half asleep and half awake when you're still in the theta zone. Okay? This is your best time to manifest your day. Okay? So, first step you want to do is get in the habit of programming yourself to wake up when you want to and make that stick. Okay? Now, the next step to this is what you're going to do is when you wake up, you're just going to lay there. You're going to check the time, just nice and casual. And you know, when you get in the habit of waking up when you want to, you're going to feel different. You're absolutely going to feel a difference. You're going to open your eyes, you're going to be a little conscious, and you're going to feel that difference, and it's going to register on you. And eventually you're going to get used to that feeling, and you're going to know by that feeling that you're within 5 to 15 minutes of your alarm. You're just going to know that because of the way it feels to you. Trust me, it does feel different. So you wake up and you lay there. Stretch if you want to, but don't attempt too hard to wake up right away. Allow yourself to be groggy, still in that theta zone. Allow yourself to just lay there and relax and appreciate what you're going to do. And then what I want you to do is start to visualize what you want to do today. And what I mean by that is, are you overworked? Do you have too many things? Are there things on your agenda that you would rather not have to do today? Well, then what I would suggest in that case is that you visualize your day being nice and easy, and you're saying this in your head while you're visualizing it, and you're putting out a command. I am only going to do this, I'm only going to do that, this is going to go well, this is going to be fine, I won't have to worry about this. And I want you to act as if you've already been given notice that this is how today is going to be. That's the confidence level I want you to have when you're saying this stuff in your head and visualizing it. Okay? And, you don't need to take more than a couple of minutes doing this. And then get up and get your coffee or tea or water, whatever you do, and just relax for a few minutes. Just relax. Take about 10 or 15 minutes. Don't hop on the computer. Don't turn on the TV. Just chill out and relax. And then what I want you to do is I want you to go outside. However that looks to you, if it's a balcony on an apartment building or if it's your front yard or backyard or whatever, I want you to go outside and greet the day. And I want you to look at the trees or look at the sky. I'd say, for instance, you don't have any trees. That's fine. Just look into the sky and soak in how beautiful the morning day is. And just feel that flood all of your cells and just get really happy that it's going to be a beautiful day. And after about 5 minutes of this, I want you to start adding in there. Part of the reason it's going to be a beautiful day is because you get to dictate how every single day is going to be. And then I just want you to casually go over in your head the things that you're going to do today, not the things you're not going to do. Okay? Because just like anything else, if you concentrate on what you don't want to do, you're going to have to do it. No, I want you to just casually, while you're enjoying breathing in the air and everything, just kind of casually go over in your head. No special pattern, no 1, 2, 3. Just go over in your head what you're going to be doing today and what time you're going to be leaving and how wonderful the day is going to be. And then just let it go. You're outside for about 10 minutes. If you want to spend more time, fine. But I would say 10 minutes is all you really need. And then go inside and go about your daily routine in an unrushed manner. This is really critical. Because in the perfect world where you dictate every second, because, look, you got the power. Why not do it? Do you really want to be rushed every single morning before you go to work? Is that really the life for you? Now, a lot of people say, well, I'm the kind of person that just gets up and runs out the door because I can't just sit around. Well, guess what? The reason you can't just sit around is not your choice. The reason you can't just sit around is because that's the way you've been programmed. You need to simplify your life and start taking action to reduce the stress in your life. And part of it is giving yourself time to relax before you go anywhere, time to enjoy yourself, time to just breathe in, do some meditation, do whatever, but just relax. Okay? You've been so caught up in all of this old programming that you have to do this and you have to do that and you can't do this and you can't do that. We weren't born 5 seconds after conception so that we could get out of the womb. We weren't born to rush out the door. We learned to rush out the door by people that rush out the door. You need to slow down. Take it easy. All of the techniques that I teach you guys in my classes and workshops and stuff that I tell you about in this radio program, these are all designed to change your life so that by osmosis, you have more time, you have more happiness, you have more nice things coming into your life, which has a snowball effect. When you have a better life, however small or large, it improves. It makes you happier. It puts you more at ease. The happier you are and the more at ease you are only creates more of a nice life. So you see, if you want a super nice life, then you first have to commit to having a little bit better life and recognize that you have a little bit better life. And then, once you have a little bit better life, you get happier about that, and you get more relaxed about that, and you get confident about that. And you say, okay, now it's time to ramp it up. But what you'll notice is all the while you are consciously trying to wrap it up. By osmosis, the universe is in tune with your feelings of happiness and confidence, is in tune with the energy that you're putting out there because you're now happier and more confident, and is giving you more and more without you even asking for it. This, in a sense, is a miracle. This is why sometimes when you're trying to manifest stuff, it happens within hours, when at other times you try to manifest stuff and it took a couple of months. This is the sheer miracle of our connection with God's Spirit and the universe. Once you slow down your life and commit to being happier and more confident, happiness and confidence will come to you by osmosis, which in turns make you happier and more confident, which makes you happier and more confident, and so on and so on. Okay? So then, when you're going to work, okay, I want you to be really happy and confident that everything's going to be just fine today. All right? And the more that you do this exercise, the stronger it's going to get. Trust me, I do this stuff. Okay? I wouldn't be telling you guys anything I haven't already practiced and succeeded at. The more you do this, the more confident you're going to get, and you're going to want to do it. See, that's what's key. You're going to have such success with this that you almost can't wait to go to sleep so that you can wake up and do another day and see how it goes. And I'll give you a great example of just how detailed you can get. I work a part-time job in the mornings to pay for my lectures and everything else that I personally want to take so that I can get better and so that I can help you guys with more stuff. So what I do for the daily thing is I create which jobs I'm going to do, how long it's going to take, and when I'm going to leave, and whether or not I'm going to have extra stuff. Well, today, I decided that I was only going to work for 2 clients, even though we have like 200 clients. And they have a family dog, Riley. He's such a cute dog. He's a little tiny dog, and he's not small enough to be called a step-on, and I think we all know what those are. But he's so cute and so darling. They got him. I believe they got him from the pound. And he loves me, and I love him, and it's just so much. You know, if anybody out there has high blood pressure, or you know anybody that has stress issues, you want to slow down your stress. You want to get better with your blood pressure. Get a dog. Get a cat. Get a koala. I don't know. Get some other creature that you can bond with. Really, look, you can look this up. There's medical studies, everything. Your blood pressure, your stress, everything will go way down. Okay? So I haven't seen Riley in a few days, and I kind of missed him. So during my morning meditation of creating my day, I put Riley in there. And I wanted Riley in today. And what do you think happened? Riley was there today. Now, he hasn't been in a few days. And, I don't keep track of him. And nobody said to me, well, he's coming in on Tuesday, so no. I never know when he's going to be there and when he's not going to be there. But at least now I know that if I want him there, I can make sure he's there because he was in there today. That is the power of your own creative abilities. That is how strong you are. If you don't think you can do it, try little stuff, but never hesitate to contact me to ask for advice. Never hesitate to listen to one of these broadcasts or come to one of my events, because I always tell you what I do personally, and I always have third-party examples, and I can give you their information because everyone that I've ever helped has said, I've asked them, listen, if someone's not sure, can I give them your email address? And they're always, yes, absolutely, no problem. Because it worked and it helped them, and they're more than happy to help you. In fact, on my meetup page, one of the questions I have in order to join is, if you finally get it, do you promise to share it? Now, I've never had anyone say no, but that's important to me. I want people to commit to saying yes. I want people to read that sentence. I want people to think about sharing. Because the fact of the matter is, folks, way too many people out there don't even know they can control their life, even on a monthly basis, let alone a daily basis. And then there's the other part of the population that don't believe they can do it at all. And you know what? No one's wrong. Don't make anyone wrong because they don't believe in this stuff. There's a shirt that came out years and years ago. Living well is the best revenge. Well, being a great example of controlling your creations is the ultimate for all the people that don't believe that you can do it. Go ahead and become awesome. Go ahead and become great. Become wealthy beyond your wildest dreams if that's what you want to do. Because let me tell you something, building a wealth system, you use the same techniques. It's all about clearing out your blockages from your past and your old programming and changing your belief system. It's the same stuff. That's why I tell everybody, there's not a million different answers for what you want to do. You just have a million different topics in which to apply the same exact answers. You want to get rich and you're not rich? Then you got to remove the blocks and you got to change your belief system and you got to go inside and blah, blah, blah. You want a car and you don't have one? Then you got to remove your blocks and you got to change your belief system and you got to go inside, blah, blah, blah. You want somebody special in your life and you don't have that? Then you got to remove your blocks, you got to change your belief system, you got to go inside and blah, blah, blah. It doesn't change, but you do. The work that you need to do for each and every topic that you can come up with, and I don't care if it's from putting on your socks the right way to being able to travel 4 times a year, to getting the job you want, to getting the spouse you want, to getting the car you want, to getting anything you want, to getting rich, whatever. The answers are always the same. The answers are always the same. You will never change your external unless you go inside and change the internal. Because your external is a direct reflection of your internal. You create your own reality. If you can't create what you want, there's an internal block stopping you. You go inside, and with the right techniques, you remove that block, and voila. It's as simple as that. Now, saying it is really simple, because the actual doing of it is really simple. Understanding what you need to do and being able to spend time on yourself and love yourself and commit to yourself, which you've never been taught to do, is not that simple. But once you do, and once you start seeing the results and the effects, you will be amazed beyond belief. You will do things that you will never, ever forget. You will do things that will force you to want to convert your family. Not kidding you. It'll work so well for you that you will want to convert everyone you know just so that they can be happy like you. Not because you're some maniac that wants to create some Jim Jones camp where everybody hangs on your every word and won't do anything unless they talk to you first. No. I mean, you're going to get so excited and be so inspired that you're going to want that same feeling for everybody. And you're going to have to hold yourself back because not everybody's ready to look behind the curtain. The choice few of you that are, you come to my events and I see you. I know who you are. You're sitting up in the first 2 rows and you're smiling. And I look at you and I say, is there any questions? And nobody has any questions because, as one woman put it in a recent workshop, the reason I am not asking any questions is because I resonate so much with what you're saying. Your message is exactly how I live my life. And that's awesome. And you know, that's not because of me. This lady that I'm referencing, I never met before in my life, but she is like me, like a lot of you out there, understood that there is a different way of doing this, that there is a better way of doing this, one where you don't have to live by default and play the victim role every day, one where you can call the shots on your own happiness, one where you understand that it's your responsibility to be happy or sad, not anybody else's. And also one where you get to eliminate the crap in your life. How many of you want to control your own lives? Let me ask you this. How many of you don't feel like you can control your life? That you're at the mercy of someone else, that you're a victim? I bet a lot of you are shaking your heads yes right now. Because that's how you've been programmed. And that's the madness I talk about in my book. It's time to stop the madness. It's time to get on with the understanding that we are all part of the God Spirit, and we're all just as powerful as each other, and we can all create whatever we want, whenever we want, or not. We have the choice. Most of us are brought up with the understanding we don't have a choice. One of the first steps is to create the day you want. Program yourself to wake up when you want. Get into the habit of it. Get the confidence. Get your belief system up. Because really, once you start proving to yourself that you can do little things, then you can start proving to yourself you can do anything. This is no joke. There is no reason that anything stops you from doing anything other than the fact that you were told you couldn't by someone. That's where it all comes from, because we're not born with the understanding that we can't do anything. You know, 2-year-olds don't run around telling everybody how horrible their job is going to be when they grow up because they already know they can't do anything right. They don't do that. But that's when they'll learn it, when they're 2, 3, 4, whenever. Anytime before 10. And they'll keep that with them. If you feel inadequate, if you feel there's something holding you back, and if you think there's things that you can't do, then you need to, with the proper guidance, go inside and find out where those blocks are and remove them. Now, one of the things that may be entailed here is that you have to face some awful things. Were you beaten as a kid? Were you abused? Whatever. But you're going to have to make peace with that. And you're going to have to forgive people and forgive yourself. And there could be, more often than not, a whole lot of crying involved. But this is the type of emotional breakthrough that is needed for a lot of these things that are standing in your way. That's how strong they are. And you need to commit to yourself to make sure that these things never happen again. Because once you don't have them in your way, nothing can stop you. Absolutely nothing can stop you. Because if they were never there to start with, there'd be nothing in your way. Think about it. Think about it. If you've never had these things happen, like nobody ever told you were stupid when you were young enough to believe it, or nobody ever did this, or nobody ever did that, if none of this stuff ever happened to cause you to not achieve greatness, then wouldn't be anything to stop you from achieving greatness. End of story. So let's review. We talked about changing your bed habits, changing your habits of going to bed and waking up. Give yourself time to relax. Give yourself time in the morning to work on you. We talked about waking up in the morning when you want to, and make that a habit. We also discussed putting in there as the chocolate sauce on top of the sundae, being able to create every single day the way you want it to be before you even get out of bed, by focusing on exactly what it is you're going to do and not even allowing a minute feeling of anything that you don't want to do, because it's the same basic premise. You always focus on what it is you want and not on what you don't want. Because the longer that you focus on what you don't want never comes into existence. Plain and simple. And then, whether you're doing it or not now, fine. If you're going to do it later, fine. But when you do it, and when you see it, and when you get it, please do yourself and everyone else a favor. Share it. Share it however you can. Don't be a pompous ass about it. But just like really happy, like you would share the fact that, out of the blue I got a raise. Isn't that cool, Oh, hey, I learned this technique on how to wake up when I want, and it really works. I'm so happy. Just nice and easy, just share it. Allow someone to be exposed to the concept that it comes from someone they know and not somebody who's promoting an event who wants to teach them. Okay? Do that. And smile while you're doing it. In fact, smile more often. Okay? And I will see you all back here next week. And until then, I hope you guys have an awesome week and an awesome life. All right, well, that's it for today's show, folks. I hope you enjoyed it and are a little closer to living life on your terms. Join me next week, won't you, for another mind-blowing show about the truth of reality. Until then, my reality is not your reality. What are you creating today?